Thanks, Marie. And thank you to a group for whom science is Saturday night entertainment. I just love this. And it's not just Saturday night entertainment, but it's combined with wanting to do something good for the planet. So this is heaven for me. Thank you very much for honoring me. I'm actually a very fortunate person because I have this wonderful career in science and engineering over at Caltech. And like all of you, I can tell who are here tonight, I want a world where science helps us live sustainably, where we won't continue to deplete our finite resources and degrade the environment, and a place where our children will enjoy the standard of living that we enjoyed. And we will be lucky if that's the case. To accomplish this, we have to work with really great scientists and engineers. And early in my career, I found such an engineer. I worked with, and I've drawn inspiration from the greatest engineer of all time and the greatest chemist. This really annoys my colleagues at Caltech when I say this because half of them have Nobel Prizes. But truly, the greatest engineer and scientist of all time is the natural world, specifically the biological world, because when you think about it, the biological world has solved some truly difficult problems, not the least of which is the problem of being alive and of staying so in a sustainable fashion. Think about it. Nature figured out how to draw energy and materials from the environment and convert those into adapting, self-replicating, complex, sometimes even thinking machines, forms of life. Nature figured out how to extract these materials and energy from the environment and do it in a sustainable and recyclable way with great efficiency and often minimal waste. So when you look to nature, there's this immense source of inspiration for how we should be behaving. We should strive to match this efficiency and this elegance in any of our human engineered systems. Yes, nature is the greatest engineer of all time, and I've spent the last 30 years copying a few of her tricks, because when you think about it, it may seem that biology is taking over, but we are just scratching the surface of a revolution in biological engineering. I was a graduate student at the beginning of the DNA revolution at Berkeley, UC Berkeley, in the early 1980s, when these brand new companies like Genentech and Amgen were just little startups. And we were just beginning to learn how to cut and paste DNA with our baby scissors for the first time. Well, 30-some years later, we still don't know how to compose that DNA. We can read it, we can write it, but no one knows how to compose the DNA that encodes life. We can just copy it. We can't compose it. And we certainly don't know how to compose the DNA that will make the world a better place that includes humans on the planet. But we're learning. We want to be able to use biological systems to make our chemicals and our materials and our food and our fuels with this elegance. So to circumvent this profound ignorance, you might be wondering, what is it that I have done? I circumvented this profound ignorance of how do you compose the code of life by using one of those beautiful tricks of nature, evolution. I evolve molecules in the laboratory. Yes, on my nights off, my students are there having yeast have sex, right? You know, you mix molecules together in the laboratory. This is what we do over at Caltech on Saturday night. And it actually works. You can create some pretty interesting things because evolution is an innovation machine. It works at all scales. Engineering from molecules to ecosystems, one design algorithm. People at JPL, you should be envious. There is one design algorithm that works at all scales of complexity, and I've been trying to figure out how can we use that to evolve forward in a meaningful and useful way. And over the years, I've worked with teams to make everything from renewable jet fuels. We started a company here in Pasadena in 2004 that has now made jet fuel that multiple airlines have flown on from renewable resources. And over in Santa Monica, we have another startup that's making the authentic insect sex pheromones. And why would you want to do that? Because if you confuse the males, they can't mate. Anybody figure this one out? They can't mate, and then the pests that invade our crops, in fact, in Africa especially, cannot mate, and then you don't need pesticides anymore. Imagine that. But this is what chemistry we can do in living systems that we can't do in our test tube. In any case, while my inspiration comes from nature, whatever I've accomplished, of course, I owe to my teachers, mentors, friends, students, colleagues, family. And I'll just mention two of those brilliant students are here. The two beautiful young women over there in the side are PhD students at Caltech who actually spend their time trying to solve some of these problems. And Ella and Kati, thank you. Because it's the creativity and hard work of these young people, right? We are the mentors, but it's their creativity that will change the world. And we need to give them the tools and the freedom to do that. So tonight is a tribute to them and their desire to change the world for the better. Thank you very much.